You know, at this point, everybody's already talked about Akira Toriyama's death. It's such a huge impact to the anime world, the manga world as it is as a whole. Most things that we see nowadays, most manga we read, would not be as impactful in America or even across the world without Akira Toriyama and what he did with Dragon Ball. In fact, he's done so many different works. His most famous one, obviously, is Dragon Ball, but he's done things like his artwork, his designs for Dragon Quest. He's done Blue Dragon. Like, he's done so much. And he will be missed. And prayers very much for his family and for Teataro. Right now, we still have no idea what the status of Dragon Ball Super is going to be. But we're still hoping for the best on how things go. I mean, his works stands time. Video games, Dragon Ball Fighters, Sparking Zero, which we're hoping is still going to be coming out. Pretty sure it will. But like, anime would not be where it's at today if Toriyama did not push the way he did not do what it is that he did. His work stands as a test of time. At the Zone, we wound up having a lot of things we wanted to say. Originally, this video is kind of late. It was supposed to be a Happy Saiyan Day video. Supposed to be, I went and got the shirt. I was going to be like, oh, hey, it's Saiyan Day. Who's your favorite Saiyan? What's your favorite part of Dragon Ball Z, or Dragon Ball Super, stuff like that. But so I'm obviously releasing this a little late, but it's still wanted to say as a testament, as a thank you, Akira Toriyama, for all that you did. Thank you so much for all that you've done. I met some wonderful friends because of your work. Literally. Back in middle school, being picked on, there was a guy, we worked on a comic together, the very first comic I ever tried working on, and it was inspired by Dragon Ball. My favorite character, my character that I made, was inspired by my favorite character from the series, Vegeta. I met awesome friends like a guy at my job that I used to work at. People used to think he was weird. Nobody wanted to talk to him. But I saw he had a Dragon Ball Super sticker on his work book. And I asked him, I said, hey, you watch Dragon Ball? He said, I love Dragon Ball. I love Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super. You can ask me anything, I know all about it. And he literally just so heavily into that. I wound up painting a picture for him of One Punch Man, of Saitama. And then I got another friend, he's writing a movie script. And literally bases it not just on stuff that he would want in his life, but on Dragon Ball as well. They go hopping from different universes to different planets. It's a great script, and it's like, Toriyama, you did so much. Rest easy. Like I said, here at the Zone, we had a couple things we wanted to say.
What's up, nerds? It's a somber day in nerd culture when I heard the news about Akira Toriyama passing away of hematoma, supposedly. And me, personally, finding out about Toriyama dying, it felt similar to when you have that beloved family member or that one close friend that you haven't heard from in a while dying, and it just feels so unreal. It just throws you off, like, kind of feel a disturbance in the force, and it just hurts when someone of great influence is no longer among us. I mean, I lost family and friends sooner than I thought I would, and news like this hits on that same level. Like Stan Lee or Chadwick Boseman, you almost don't want to believe it. But like what the late Carl Weathers would say, there is no tomorrow. Now, specifically, Dragon Ball, Blue Dragon, and Dragon Quest are of Toriyama's work that instantly come to mind when I think of him. I still remember how I would say, Toriyama, goddammit, what are you doing with this Dragon Ball franchise, you doing all this weird moves, but honestly, I've always been a fan. Like I just felt the spirit in his work, and I admired him for that. Dare I say, Toriyama is a king of manga. If there was a Mount Rushmore for manga writers, I would put Toriyama up there with Oda, who did One Piece, Kishimoto, who did Naruto, Miura, who did Berserk, rest his soul too. Uh, Arakawa, who did Full Metal Alchemist, Araki, who did JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. What was the one that did Yu-Gi-Oh? I forgot his name. I'm sorry, but those are just a handful. If I were to now, I hope that his unfinished works will be handled carefully by Toyotaro or whoever he has the torch to. And my condolences to everyone affected by his passing. In fact, honestly, this makes me think. If and when I complete my own fantasy stories, I hope they move the masses like how Dragon Ball Z inspired thousands, if not millions, of people to hit the gym. Like people wanting to get real, cut that definite mass, that muscle mass, you know what I mean? And the Dragon Ball franchise can't afford to fumble at this point. It will be an insult to Akira's memory. Yeah. With that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and let the boys say what they gotta say, and I'll come back and close it out.
Toriyama's passing was something I kind of thought that I was ready for. Realized I probably wasn't, because like Dragon Ball series wound up being such a big thing. It winds up being something that has greatly impacted a lot of what I wanted to do. It's one of those things of like, just it's a big influence. Everywhere you go, almost everybody has heard of Dragon Ball Z, whether they watch anime or not. You'd be like, oh, anime. You watch anime? Oh, you mean like Dragon Ball Z? I watched that when I was a kid, but not. I don't really watch anime like that, but it's still one of those things of like, it's that well known, just worldwide, like everywhere. You've either seen it or have at least heard of it. You know Akira Toriyama. Like, we have different series now that make such a big difference to the world. I mean, Attack on Titan becoming it was definitely like a pretty big global. Demon Slayer is becoming more now, but none's gonna hit that impact like Dragon Ball did. None's gonna hit the impact like Akira Toriyama did. Just realistically, to a lot of people, even like my wife even wound up saying it's the honest truth to a lot of people, Dragon Ball Z was their start of how they kind of got into anime. Like, I think even a guy I follow, Kev on Stage, pretty popular guy. Even for him, he had a video that he released not that long ago. He's only recently restarted his anime journey. But before, even one of his things is like, why didn't you guys tell me what was going on with anime and stuff? It's like, I watched Dragon Ball Z when I was a kid, but like, y'all didn't tell me that all this was going on. Like, and it's, you hear people will say that. It's like, I watched Dragon Ball Z and it had a big impact. It's like, everyone knows. So, his passing is hard. It's, to the anime community, to a lot of people, is probably, not even trying to overly stretch it, but to be very honest, is probably going to wind up being as big as Michael Jackson when he passed away. Because Akira Toriyama made a big difference in a lot of different series, and it's one of those ones like reading in an interview, understanding how so Akira Toriyama wound up, he was been with Shonen Jump for a long time, and during the time Tite Kubo, I remember reading an interview that was a translated interview, and he was talking about how he thought Bleach was not going to do well. He was giving up on the series. He thought it's like, yeah, this it. Shonen Jump was about to drop it, and it was, he wound up saying it was actually Akira Toriyama that actually helped him out into that. That Akira Toriyama actually, he got a chance to see him, and dude was like, yo, this is your series. This is awesome. I love the series. I can't wait. I want to keep reading it. I want to keep going on, keep pushing, keep going. And it was a big impact in telling Shonen Jump to, hey, no, don't drop this series. It's a good series. And I mean, look at Bleach now. Like, it's one thing to understand, even series like that would not have been where it's at without Dragon Ball Z, without Akira Toriyama's work. Like, back with Dragon Ball being the fact that he was a big fan of the movie Journey to the West, and then making his own story that was entertaining for an American public, pushed the boundaries on some stuff, but in Japan not so much. But it's like, it's a big thing. It was his series did a lot. I mean, he's done more than just Dragon Ball. That's the most biggest thing that obviously that he's well known for. I was also a fan of the Blue Dragon video game series and the short anime that came along with it. Dragon Quest still had so many games, and his design. Even like the very first comic that I ever worked on with a friend of mine, Joseph, way back in like middle school. The art style that we had, that was like the first art style or cartoonish art style that I used was for that comic. We designed our characters and, you know, muscular, the eyebrows with the eyes. We did all that. That was like our first comic that we was working on. Had a whole series, a whole different characters. My character was like, Vegeta's my all-time favorite character. So my character, of course, was a prince of his planet. And it's like, we had different power-ups that grew the hair extremely long. It was a huge impact work. His stuff, it sat with you for a while. It sits with you for a long time. It's a big thing. Team 4-Star, I still go back and rewatch those things all the time. Watch Team 4-Star Bridge. They still keep going with HFIL, with the Hell for Infinite Losers, Tales with Cell. I still watch that. But like, yeah, like Dragon Ball Z Abridged, with like, it set the standard for a bridge series. Like the abridged series that we see now with Yu-Gi-Oh, Sword Art Online, even now Jujutsu Kaisen Abridged is becoming popular. That started because of the biggest abridged series was Team 4-Star, Dragon Ball Z Abridged, and Little Karibo with Yu-Gi-Oh Abridged. Being the most popular one that ran for a very long series and so much merchandise. Is heavily quoted now still, being Team 4-Star's Dragon Ball Z Abridged. Like, that's just that impactful. The anime would not have grown in America without Dragon Ball Z. Truth be told, like, my first anime that I watched was Inuyasha on Adult Swim and Toonami. Like, before Adult Swim, no, Toonami. Like, before Adult Swim was even made. Inuyasha was the very first anime I ever watched, with Eureka 7 being the first anime series I ever finished. But like, it was just one of those things of, it's so impactful. I don't know. Like, if we didn't have Akira Toriyama's work, most of America would be nowhere near of the anime fan base that it is now. Without that, you had to start somewhere. Being in school and being like, oh, we're gonna shoot a Kamehameha wave, and people are like, oh, you're a dork, or you're a nerd, can't believe you really think you can shoot a Kamehameha wave, you really want to be Asian so bad. I dealt with all that, but it's like, that didn't deter me. Like, Goku didn't give up, still kept going for those Dragon Balls. And yeah, is I do hope that Dragon Ball Super is able to continue with Toyotaro. I know he was very, very close to Toriyama and his family. We're going to see how that goes. So, but yeah, it hit, but we got it. So, rest in peace, man. Your work will forever live on. Grand ambition. You got this. And yeah.
Hey, what's good? This is Professor Tuck, president of My Hero Academia chapter, Zealots of Nerd Entertainment. My favorite series by Toriyama, or rather with him, have to be Dragon Ball. I was captivated by the epic battles. You got complex characters, themes of friendship, and Toriyama really weaved that into a storyline. The way he created such a rich and immersive world that fans could truly dive into is what made it stand out for me. It's likely the reason why I fall in love with other kind of anime with full dive tech like Sword Art Online and things of that nature. The biggest impact that Toriyama had on me as an American otaku was the way his work became a cultural phenomenon. It bonded fans across different generations and backgrounds. Growing up, watching Dragon Ball on Toonami was a staple of my childhood. The anticipation of new episodes and the shared experiences with fellow fans created a sense of community and excitement that still resonates with me to this day. To this day. But look, you couldn't go to school on Monday if you didn't watch the episode on Saturday. You might as well have stayed home. Because we're going to talk about it. And you're going to get all the spoilers. I believe that with his legacy, things will definitely change in the sense that his absence leaves a void. However, his influence in the creations will continue to inspire future generations of fans and of creators. It'll ensure that his spirit lives on through the impact he has had on the industry as a whole. So just like Sans, who grows stronger after every battle, his work and legacy will continue to evolve and inspire. Love is the most precious and ancient form of magic, and the energy and words he infused into his creations will endure. It will transcend time and space. As fans, we carry on this passion for storytelling and let his spirit live on through our continued love for his work. Each day is a new eternity, and though he may be gone, his influence will forever shape the landscape of anime and manga. Rest in peace.
Hey guys, I just want to. It took me a while to be able to gather myself and say these words, but I truly want to express my gratitude and my thankfulness towards Akira Toriyama. Thank you is not enough for the impact you had on my life. For many of us, Dragon Ball became more than just an anime. It was personally my first time falling in love with animation. Being captivated by a story. I can't forget how many times I rushed home from school to catch every episode. Dragon Ball Z connected me and allowed me to meet one of my closest friends. It made me believe in myself and gave me courage. And Chi-Chi was amazing. It taught me determination and will. You did that for so many of us. And for that, I am truly grateful. Once again, thank you, Akira Toriyama. And I hope you're able to go Super Saiyan in the sky.
Hi, this is Saitama Smash from the Zones Podcast. I just want to give a quick shout out to Akira Toriyama's family. I'm sorry for your loss, guys. Akira Toriyama has been someone in my life. In terms of their anime, it's been since forever. Been since, so 7 years old watching Dragon Ball Z. It's really hard to actually see someone as great as Akira Toriyama and his art just gone from this earth. I gotta say, it's a massive loss, and it's shocking. It really is shocking to just get the message one day. It's like, hey, one of your favorite anime artists just passed away. I feel for you guys, and for all the Dragon Ball fans out there. Don't worry. So far, it's been a great ride, and I hope that they keep bringing up more good stuff for Dragon Ball Z. Can't wait.
Hi everybody, Callie Hakaishin here, also known as Callie Kaiju. I just wanted to drop in and give everybody my thoughts about Toriyama, his passing. It's fair to say that Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT, all of it has had a major impact on a lot of our lives. And for a lot of us kind of 90s kids, it kind of watching Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z on Toonami and everything when it was coming out on this side, on stateside from Japan, and the dub was something that kind of blew our minds, because Dragon Ball Z is a very big part in my heart, because growing up, I'm part Japanese, and so being able to watch anime and do all of that and engage in Japanese culture, things like that, made me feel more in tune with myself. And watching Dragon Ball Z with my older brother and my older sister made me feel connected to that, because I would listen in. I remember the goosebumps that I would get watching, having the goosebumps that came up at the beginning when we would watch Goku go Super Saiyan for the first time. And I know that we've talked about that in the zone and everything we're talking about through the Frieza saga and everything. It was such a significant piece of that memory, just getting the goosebumps and going, oh, so cool. And I know that for sure, like, that part was, I think that's one of the longest running fights that they've said, at least out of the series. I don't know about other series, but out of Dragon Ball and Dragon Ball Z, it was one of the longest running episodes of the Frieza battle and everything. But Akira Toriyama has touched my life in that way. I mean, of course, he's Japanese and everything, but his series, I would never got much into Dr. Slump, so a lot of my experiences with his, a lot of my experiences with the Dragon Ball series, of course, like a lot of us, and so his pieces, his series give me a lot of nostalgia, and I know for like a lot of us older anime folk, a lot of otaku and everything, that's something that we can kind of bond over. And so immediately hearing about the passing of Toriyama, I felt like my heart just dropped. I was like, oh my gosh, he's anime manga royalty. I mean, we've seen a lot of stuff come out and updates through all social media of Eiichiro Oda, the creator of One Piece, and so many other mangaka coming out and saying how much he's touched their lives. I mean, I know one of the things about JoJo's Bizarre Adventure was the fact that they started to do the same kind of energy thing with Hamon, but they saw that Dragon Ball was starting to do a lot of the chi or the ki, because it's kind of interchangeable, that since they picked one that they're like, okay, I need to go in an entirely different direction right now. I need to start making up stands, that sort of thing. So it was becoming so popular, they're like, oh, we want to make sure that we're not getting too close to the same idea. So Toriyama will be deeply missed, and I know that he's touched many of our lives, a lot of us in the zone, a lot of you other followers and listeners out there. So I just want you guys to take a good moment and think about how he has touched your lives, so that way we can all just kind of look back and think about the impact he's had on so much of the media that we've consumed over the years, even all of the American animation and everything. But thank you guys for listening for my thoughts on his passing, and y'all stay cool. Thanks.
All right. It seems that is everybody that got something to say on the Tory tribute. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and close this out. Remember to stay nerdy, my friends, and also, seriously, give these people their flowers. Like, if Kishimoto and Oda or some of the other manga writers or people of great influence in general have been gone, like, out of nowhere, yeah, it's best to go ahead and give them their flowers while they're still alive, you know what I mean? But, like I said, just stay nerdy, take it easy. Great things are coming. And always keep in mind.